nakopamba yo mieux que secret ya bapharaon. Lelo nazwi yo ya ngai eswi bino a pied dibae. Ata nzoko azalaka na besoin ya vitamine. Diamora komisi wa impolo wa matanga e moto nyonso nalinga kumo ya eparti ngai mboto osangisi nga na malangwa yoka kolinga sanke otuna moto ya na ngai yokomisi ngai tula oya simba zigila yamonata kobanzanga ye banzingwa kala elambaka basukwa bien après tout moye kozwa kasi elongi elengi ya makoso ezalaka na mokuwa yokati mangala nanu nawe ite somba sandoko kolelanga pas longtemps Patrick ambasade kangama na libanda tozali ebele molongo molai tozozela ata ndenge kumbepe mpo na nini moi ekozwaka moto sekobe na elongi kasi na motema te moke ezali ndambo te.
There is a big tree in my garden, a big tree in my garden. In the winter he protect me from the snow. In the summer he get to me some shadow. In the spring he give to me some sweet fruits. During the autumn on the branch of the leaf are gone. The big tree in my garden, there is a big tree in my garden. He was already 100 years old when I'm born. Already 100 years old when I'm born.
A tree without roots shall not live, but a tree without branches shall not grow.
There is a big tree in my garden, a big tree in my garden. In the winter it protect me from the snow. In the summer it get to me some shadow. In the spring it give to me some sweet fruits. During the autumn on the branch of the leaf are gone. A big tree in my garden. There is a big tree in my garden. It was already 100 years old when I'm born. Already 100 years old when I'm born. The big tree in my garden. A tree without roots cannot live, but a tree without new branches cannot grow. A tree without roots cannot live, but a tree without new branches cannot grow. There is a big tree in my garden, a big tree in my garden. In the winter it protect me from the snow. In the summer it get to me some shadow. In the spring it give to me some sweet fruits. During the autumn on the branch of the leaf are gone, 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 gone.
A tree without roots shall not live, but a tree without branches shall not grow.
الشاعر المعروف عبد القادر السوزي، وعاش فرقة كواكب عزيز.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Ow! Another one bites the dust. Hey, hey! Another one bites the dust. Hey! Ooh, shut up. There are plenty of ways that you can hurt a man and bring him to the ground. You can beat him, you can cheat him, you can treat him bad, or you leave him when he's down. But I'm ready, yes, I'm ready for you. I'm standing on my own two feet. I looked over where the bullets ring, repeating the time and bass. Oh, yeah. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up. All right.
Baby, I'm bleeding out in the dark. A young star's fading. You like it like that? Rivers are flooding. I can't have it all. I'm barely standing. Oh. Oh. Believe it or not, I feel lonely. Give me a shot. I'm still learning. Believe it or not, I'm feeling lonely right now. So lonely right now. Believe it or not, I feel empty. All these things I got just got me wondering, ain't that a lie? I'm feeling lonely right now. So lonely right now. Baby, I'm bleeding out in the cold. A lone heart is freezing. You like it like that? Rivers are flooding. Bridges shall fall. I'm barely standing. Up. Believe it or not, I feel lonely. Give me a shot. I'm still learning. Believe it or not, I'm feeling lonely right now. So
If I was young, I'd flee this town. I buried my dreams underground, as did I. We drink to die, we drink tonight. Far from home, elephant guns, let's take them down. One by one, we'll lay it down. It's not been found, it's not around. Let the seasons begin when all was right wrong. Let the seasons begin to take the beginning down. Let the seasons begin when all was right wrong. Let the seasons begin, take the beginning down. And it rubs through the silence of our candlelight. It rubs through the light of our light. Rubs through the silence of our candlelight. Rubs through the silence. All that's left is alright.
light comes on slowly. A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hands onto your head, and then smiles cover your heart. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. I think it's strange you never knew.
Gloire à Dieu au plus haut des cieux.
Paix sur la terre aux hommes qu'il aime. Gloire à Dieu au plus haut des cieux.
Nous te louons, nous te bénissons.
Nous t'adorons, nous te glorifions.
Nous te rendons grâce pour ton immense gloire. Seigneur Dieu, roi du ciel, Dieu le Père Tout-Puissant.
Seigneur, Fils unique Jésus-Christ.
Seigneur Dieu, agneau de Dieu, le Fils du Père. Toi qui enlèves le péché du monde, prends pitié de nous.
Toi qui enlèves le péché du monde, reçois notre prière.
Toi qui es assis à la droite du Père, prends pitié de nous, car toi seul est saint, toi seul est Seigneur.
Toi seul est le Très-Haut Jésus-Christ, avec le Saint-Esprit,
Dans la gloire de Dieu le Père. Amen.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, don't be afraid.
Boa tarde a todos e todas. Sejam novamente muito bem-vindos e muito bem-vindas a esta que é a 23ª Conferência Internacional OIDP. Welcome, bienvenue, bienvenidos. No website do evento, tal como no saco oferta, podem encontrar a programação completa com os painéis dos 3 dias. Irão decorrer sessões em simultâneo em 3 edifícios diferentes. No espaço onde nos encontramos, a Sala das Artes, identificado com o número 2, na Fábrica do Carvalho, no espaço 1, e na Oficina da Regueifa e do Biscoito, referenciado como espaço 3. O percurso para os diferentes locais encontra-se devidamente assinalado nas ruas, com um círculo verde no chão e alguns tótems. Pedimos que se dirijam aos locais onde estão inscritos. No início de cada sessão, será entregue equipamento para tradução da mesma. Os equipamentos têm de ser entregues obrigatoriamente no final de cada sessão. Não é permitido levar o equipamento para outra sessão ou espaço. As refeições principais realizam-se no espaço 1, Fábrica do Carvalho. Em todos os outros espaços haverá coffee breaks. Solicitamos encarecidamente que cumpram os horários estabelecidos. Vamos assistir ao primeiro painel da tarde, organizado por Alda e moderado por Irakli e Arcava. Obrigada a todos, uma boa tarde.
Hello, everyone. Well, thank you very much for joining our panel today. I'm very excited and delighted to see so many of you here, and I'm really hoping that this panel will be also, you'll find it insightful. I'm Irakli from ALDA, the European Association for Local Democracy, and where I coordinate our work in the Eastern Partnership region and Central Asia. Today we'll be discussing a very crucial topic for the Eastern Partnership region, that's local resilient democracy and participatory governance in the Eastern Europe amidst many challenges that the region faces, very sadly. We are very happy to have 2 speakers with us. ALDA's Moldova, ALDA's director, Viorica Tudos, please. And we have Angelica Pilipenko from Dnipropetrovsk LDA, Ukraine, who took a long way and was quite risky, challenging way to come to Valongo from Ukraine. Thank you both of you. We sadly don't have our 3rd participant from Armenia, LDA Armenia, who's supposed to be with us, and I promised her that I would say this, that sadly because of the French embassy did not issue her visa on time, I mean, she's not with us, but still she sent us a video, and therefore we will also hear a little bit what's happening in Armenia and what ALDA does through LDA Armenia. The operational environment in the Eastern Partnership in this region is quite often challenging. And Russia's unjustified war in Ukraine has severely affected the stability of the entire region, including Armenia, in Moldova, in Georgia, where I come from, actually. And this context definitely puts local democracy resilience to the test. Our panel will explore how local governments and civil society organizations, despite all these difficult circumstances, continue to promote transparency, empower citizens, and strengthen democratic resilience. Before we dive into these questions and discussions, I would like to take this opportunity also to briefly introduce ALDA and what is our mission in this region. Well, ALDA stands for the European Association for Local Democracies. It was established in 1999 as an umbrella organization to support local democracy agencies. These agencies were initiated by the Council of Europe in 1993 as a response to the war in Balkan countries, to reconnect civil society and local governments using participatory democracy to build resilient and inclusive communities. Well, in 2007, and starting with Georgia, ALDA slowly started to extend its activities in the Eastern Partnership region, but also beyond, with activities in Turkey, in Morocco, Sub-Saharan Africa, and even in Bhutan. This opportunity allowed us to build a very rich experience of participatory democracies that became of interest for members from the European Union who were interested in applying this approach in their own communities. Well, along these years, with our members and partners, we have developed more than 500 projects and reached more than 25 million people. Today, we continue to develop the projects and our work in more than 45 countries. This long-standing support of ALDA to the Eastern Partnership democratic resilience, of course, was recognized by the European Commission recently, last year, and we have now a framework partnership agreement with a DG NEAR, whose role is to promote democracy in this region, and not only. We also have signed just recently this year a memorandum of understanding with the Committee of Regions to strengthen capacity building activities with the local governments to those countries that are candidate countries of the European Union. And of course, it's worth mentioning as well that we are one of the founding members of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum that unites civil societies from the Eastern Partnership. Well, with that, let me invite now our speakers to give us a brief introduction of the organization and the activities they do in their respective countries. And we'll start with Moldova. Then we will have our colleagues from Armenia, the recording video message, and then we'll move on with Ukraine. Afterwards, I will have a couple of questions, and then you are more than welcome to also ask questions. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm very glad to greet you and to be welcomed by this beautiful country, Portugal. And I find the connection between two countries, Moldova and Portugal. Actually, we both are wine lovers, and we are on the top of wine tourism. So I tasted the good wine in Portugal, but I assure you that you should come in Moldova and try this small country, but very interesting and authentic. So a little about to map where is Moldova and what is it. Maybe you don't know much more about us. It's between Ukraine and Romania. We are supposed to be about 3 million of people, but half of them are forming our diaspora in many countries in Europe. So, but we are happy now to be on this path of European Union accession, despite the challenging geopolitical environment and but unfortunately, due to these unfortunate events, we speed up this and a short introduction. We are as I said, we have largest wine underground cellars, and we have about 12,000 of civil society organizations, but this is not, it seems a huge number for this country, but half of them are not active, and from this half, and again 1/2, are social services oriented, and mainly due to this, not due to, but in these conditions of war, many of CCOs worked as emergency organizations to help many refugees from Ukraine. Still, on this EU accession path, we challenging a lot of, we have a lot of challenges, and one of them are transparency and government accountability, which we wanted to support, and through the project EU for Accountability, which took place 2 years from 2020 to 2024, and it has an impact on, or it worked in 10 districts, or 1/3 of the country. We worked with 50 civil society organizations, and we have an impact about on 200,000 of beneficiaries. The main goal of this project was to bring, to enhance the transparency of public authorities and to enhance their accountability. But not only this, the main goal was to also to increase citizens' participation. Because we are coming from Soviet Union, we have a certain different mindset. It was were used to think that what is collective, something it's collective ownership, doesn't affect me, or I'm not responsible for this. So actually, we through this different actions, not only this project, but different actions supported by European Union. Now we are working on very grass level with grassroots civil society to plant these seeds of responsibility, of involvement of people, of engaging in this decision process at the local level in their communities. And to make public authorities more accountable. So the main activities were directed to capacity building of civil society, but as I said, there are a lot of civil society organizations, small, in very small communities, which need to be supported. Also, people were not used to work with local authorities. So the partnerships between civil society and local authorities was, again, one of the challenge to teach them how to work, how to involve, how to raise your voice, how to participate in local councils, and to bring your initiatives, or to make your opinion regarding the budget, where should be spent this budget. And again, in this action, we've tried to engage civil society in political dialogue to influence policies at local level. The main project activities, as I said, were this capacity building, but an important part to implement this participatory mechanism was to offer small grants to these organizations to be implemented in their communities. And this was a winning like a process to teach them, to show them that through participatory budgeting, the community, can influence the authorities' agenda. They can influence the budgeting process, and they can build some concrete things in their community to solve some problems. So they make surveys, they informed people in their community, they decided which initiatives, which problems should be solved in their community. Thus, many youth centers in their communities were refurbished, or many playgrounds for children were built, or through this establishment of some initiative group who collect proposals and work with local authorities to put in the budget, in the local budget, and coming with this support from our project. They saw how is working this mechanism of participatory budgeting, like when you are working together, you are solving a problem for the community. And the interesting and a good resulting activity were to make this peer-to-peer exchange, and besides the local organizations' exchange of their experiences, the better work when we bring them, when we go to Romania, which is a European country already, have more experience, more civil society organizations, and Moldovan organizations learned how they should develop their organizations, how many actions can be implemented, and how to do this. So, as I said, other initiatives were very basic, maybe to involve volunteers, to refurbish, to establish some parks in their community. But this led to community mobilization. That was our goal. So the impact of this project was to citizen engagement, community mobilization, and establishing the participatory mechanism through these regulations to vote these documents at local level, and to establish this participatory budgeting mechanism already to be a sustainable initiative, not just one shot, one action due to the project. This is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Now let me ask if it's possible already to show the video, please. From LDA Armenia.
Dear participants, dear guests, dear organizers of this lovely and great conference taking place in Valongo in Portugal, I'm sending you my greetings, my warm greetings from a lovely city, Gyumri, Armenia. I'm Lucina Alexandrian, and I'm the director of Local Democracy Agency Foundation. Not so many people are aware where is Armenia is, so let me make you a small excursion. That Armenia is situated in the Armenian highlands of West Asia, in the Caucasus region, and a landlocked country bordering Iran, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey. For very many centuries, our country has struggled for peace, for human rights, and for anti-violence. Armenia is one of the ancient countries that has its own alphabet, and also the first country that adopted Christianity as the official religion. Armenia currently is a country that makes everything in order to take the democratic path. in order to be able to defend human rights, and has taken the path for EU accession, for the freedom of media and freedom of speech, as well as for EU accession. I'm the director, as I mentioned, Local Democracy Agency Foundation, that is in Gyumri, and the main role and the main mission of our organization is to promote local democracy and citizen participation. The organization is initiated by a European Association for Local Democracy, as you may know, also ALDA, that is a very experienced and very famous organization in Europe for promoting good governance and citizen participation. The organization has a lot of priorities, and among them is youth empowerment, women empowerment, promotion of women involvement in decision-making processes. I would like to mention that within 13 years of our functioning in the region and being one of the first promoters for local governance, different project initiatives were implemented with the great support of Association of Local Democracy Agencies. Youth empowerment is one of our key priorities, and within these initiatives, a lot of projects were implemented in order to be able to involve youth in decision-making processes. Youth is our future, and we need to support them to get involved in the community issues. I would like to mention that new methods and approaches were elaborated for the youth involvement. In the frames of this initiative, there was an interactive theater that was developed with the Youth Palace situated in Gyumri, and this theater brought a new spirit to the initiatives that were implemented before, because it was new, it was innovative, and it was not similar to old traditions and formal learning, like only training, etc. It was a kind of stage performance that enabled people to be involved and get involved in the elections, to be able to solve, like simulation, to solve community issues. This method was first elaborated and was first implemented with school children of the elementary schools that really liked this idea, and then it was expanded to other schools of Gyumri. Because of some technical problems, now the project is now still going on, but we plan to see also to expand them to other regions of Armenia, because this is the way that people really become interested and the youth becomes interested in community issues and not the formal issues and traditional issues from which they are greatly already bored and tired. It's very interesting and important that youth is part of our community, and they are willing to change something and become change makers in our communities. After our trainings, some school children and school teachers that became interested in our trainings and in these methods, they became motivated in order to continue their education and to be able to become a kind of part of the community issues and to be able to get elected during the coming elections. I would like to mention that nowadays Armenia is facing a lot of challenges, and we really all need very smart and engaging people that really think of the country's future, and they are willing to do something for our country. I was really willing to present you more about our projects, but because of limited situation and resources, I would like to send you again my greetings, wish you a productive and lovely conference, because democracy, we believe in democracy with trust, and we should take only this path to have a bright future. I'm also just sending you my greetings from a lovely city of Gyumri. And you can just see one of our sightseeing that is the important and very interesting sightseeing. It is called Black Castle, and I all invite you all to take your conferences here all together for the next coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucine. Now, I would like to invite Angelika to give us a presentation about LDA Dnipropetrovsk. Please try to be... Thank you. Should work.
Thank you.
It works, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. At first, excuse me, please, my English is not so good because I have some papers, okay? I will look just a little. I'm from Ukraine. My name is Angelika Pilipenko. I'm a director of Local Democracy Agency from 2015. Our organization was established on May 2015. It became the first LDA of the Ukraine. LDA is a platform of cooperation, dialogue, and exchange of experience, the best practice across several aspects of regional development, cultural, social, and economic, between local authorities and civil society in Ukraine. Our priorities in activity is promotion local democracy, assisting in the psychological and social rehabilitation of IDPs, servicemen and their families, supporting youth initiatives, and promoting gender equality in all aspects of life. We have successful experience in implementing projects between the full-scale war in the following areas. At first, supporting decentralization reform in Ukraine. Increasing the engagement of Dnipro's civil society in making management decisions in the territorial community, and training civil society activities in e-democracy tools, and assisting in the development and adoption of the Dnipro e-democracy concept by Dnipro City Council, and developing constructive interaction between local authorities and civil society of the Dnipropetrovsk territorial community. As a result, we were able to foster closer cooperation between local authorities and civil society in Dnipro. They found common ground in addressing territorial community issues, learning to hear each other, and implement joint projects. Our city, Dnipro, became the first city in Ukraine to approve the concept of e-democracy. This became the legal basis for the online work of the Dnipro City Council during the lockdown. Our 300 local governments and civil society officials were trained in the tools of local democracy and e-democracy, as well as constructive interaction. Since the beginning of the full-scale war, we have shifted the priorities of our activities. Together with active residents of condominiums, we organized shelters for temporary stay of IDPs, provided them with food and basic necessities. I'm sorry. We also organized free psychological assistance from 17 psychologists and free legal and aid from 10 lawyers on volunteer basis for IDPs, servicemen, and members of their families. In 2023-2024, the LDA of Dnipropetrovsk region, with the support of ALDA and international donors from Germany, Spain, and Italy, implemented projects to equip IDPs shelters and resilience centers where people can stay during bombings and blackouts. There they can charge the gadgets, keep warm, drink hot tea, and eat in relative safety. In addition, regarding democracy during the war, thanks to consistent efforts since its establishment, the LDA of the Dnipropetrovsk region continue to stay resilient. At first step, we are research priority needs from the beginning of the war. At first, shelters for IDPs, psychological assistance, legal assistance, and shelters from bombings and blackouts for all people. Step 2, we are organized with condominiums 2 shelters to house and feed IDPs and 3 bomb shelters. And with lawyers and psychologists, we organized free assistance to the victims. And step 3, working towards restoration and social cohesion, we continue to provide free legal and psychological assistance to IDPs, veterans and their families, and support condominiums. We have the experience and skills to develop local democracy in our country. We invite you to become our partners. Let's work together for democratic Ukraine. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Angelica. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for presenting your activities in your countries. Well, now let's start our discussion. Well, Moldova is a EU candidate country, and recently EU started open negotiations with Moldova. So maybe, Viorica, can you elaborate on, you mentioned a lot about the EU accountability project, and if you can tell us more about what are the significant outcomes so far of this initiative, and also how this impacted on this EU accession path.
Thank you for the question. So, first of all, this project has as many activities and many supports of other donors, but this project also has an impact on enabling this environment, a good environment for civil society and for civil society organizations' development, because this organization needs a lot of support from financing, to technical assistance. So the project allows us to give a lot of mentorship, to training sessions, and to teach them to help these organizations to be more stronger, to know how to manage their organizations and to develop themselves. And thus, drop by drop, from district to district, year by year, we are raising a new generation of civic activists. Moreover, the mayors has changed. The new generation of mayors became younger and younger, more open-minded, and they are more willing to cooperate with civil society. And moreover, they learned that working with civil society, it's in their benefit and in the benefit of their communities, because they are now learned through EU for Accountability how to write projects, how to apply for grants, and we have more options and opportunities to get grants through civil society. But thus, all community benefited from this. So this, to open their minds, I would say it was a big impact. But of course, there are punctual achievements in each community, and one of the impact is we succeeded to increase the transparency of public authorities by equipment of these city halls with broadcasting equipment. And now, as I said, a lot of Moldovans are migrants, so but they are contributing to their community through different donations, and they are engaged in the development of their communities. So now they can monitor the activity, the city councils meetings through these Facebook Live transmissions or other devices. Other achievement and impact was that through this project, civil society was involved in defining the law for access to information. And this law was mandatory to open the negotiation to EU accession. So it was an impact to make the civil society inputs to this law and to improve it before it was voted. And maybe there are a lot of other impact, but this I consider the most important. It's this mindset change of the people, and also the multiplying the ambassadors of EU accession, because we have, it's an important and historical moment this Sunday in Moldova. It will be the referendum for EU accession to confirm the people's will to become a member of the European Union, and the presidential elections in the same day. So this is the momentum of not just to choose our future, but to choose a democratic future, and not for economic some reasons, but also for securing this democracy in Moldova, this path to go further.
Thank you for mentioning the referendum. I can't help but ask, I mean, for many, actually, this referendum was a bit controversial. Why do you think that it was needed to have a referendum about the EU accession?
You are right. Even we have surveys, and we know that more than 50% of the population support this
More
path.
than 50.
Sorry?
More than 50%.
Yes, more than 50. But the president proposed this referendum to have a legitimate decision and to make this decision written in the constitution in the way that we do not have a way back, to be
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you very much. Well, in Ukraine, there's ongoing war, and many people, there's many human rights or human rights related issues, definitely, and many rights that are people not exercising due to the war. So, Angelica, if you could maybe tell us about how local governments and civil society organizations are managed to maintain this participatory democracy despite the ongoing war.
Thank you for your questions. During the war, many of tools of local democracy are limited. Citizens cannot hold rallies, participate of local council session, hold public hearings, and etc. However, the strength of the Ukraine people is their self-organization, as for me. Self-organization bodies and condominiums have taken on the role of providers of interaction with local governments. They established cooperation with local authorities in organizing the distribution of humanitarian aid received by the city in their micro-communities. In particular, they helped to distribute for food package to people in need, took generators for temporary use to maintain electricity in apartment buildings during blackouts, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Eureka, in your presentation, you talked a lot about the project for accountability, and we saw quite some impressive figures. So with these 59 initiatives that funded, and we know that ALDA works at the local level, so what role have grassroots movements played in promoting democratic practices and citizen empowerment in the country? If you can elaborate on that.
Each of these initiative has a starting point, the community engagement, to establish a consensus in community, to establish a partnership with local authority, and to start from engaging people and sharing their ideas, teaching them, or establish this very basic, we think it's a very basic thing, but to understand that in this small community, which they were used to be just ruled by someone, it's a new thing to start to come to with initiatives, to start not vote because we have elections and so on, but to influence, to come with initiatives for budget, for public budget in this community. So this was an achievement of this civil society to influence this decision-making process and involving people in this. And each initiative involves this participatory mechanism and partnership with local authorities. That is most important in which they achieved, actually.
Thank you, Eureka. Well, I have a question regarding the community resilience and trust and the role of civil society organizations amidst ongoing war again in Ukraine. If you can elaborate on that, and also moving forward, given the war, of course, what are the key strategies for ensuring that participatory democracy remains strong in Ukraine, and also how can international partners support these efforts?
I have two parts of your questions. Okay, answer. At first, as I said, the cohesion of people during the war and the self-organization helped people to survive and be heard by the local authorities. At last, in terms of organizing assistance to IDPs, the already I'm sorry, the elderly, lonely, and other help in need. A particular problem the people faced in the inability to influence the distribution of the budget for local needs. The local government has become more closed in this regard, and they justify it with the need of the war. However, spending a lot of money, about $1 million, on advertising for local authorities, especially mayor, is not where needs for me. This is an unsolved problem for us now. And second part about strategy. The strategy to support participatory democracy in Ukraine is to support and develop self-organization of the population. I am convinced that building a society on the basis of active self-organization of people on the ground in their micro-communities, condominiums, street, neighborhood, and block committees is the key to a responsible attitude of people towards the city and our country. International partners can support these self-organization entities to rebuild Ukraine because they are made up of responsible people who multiply and assistance provided to them with the efforts and personal contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for sharing your experiences. Really appreciate. With the Ukraine, I will also add that ALDA has a flagship in Ukraine, and we are working towards opening 10 local democracy agencies to support democracy across the country. As we speak now, we have a big conference in Kiev, and part of our team is in Kiev right now. It's about the Ukraine Recovery Conference. I know we are a bit behind the time, but let's take a few minutes maybe to hear questions from the audience, please. If there's any questions, please go ahead. Present yourself quickly. Maybe I'll just give you a mic. Can I? Oh, okay, perfect. No, yes.
Hi, my name is Jens. Thank you so much for the interesting presentations. One question for sorry, I forgot your name.
Angelica.
Angelica, sorry. You talked about, I think you said at some point that Dnipro was the first city to approve e-democracy, right? I was wondering what you meant by that. What does it mean that the city approved of e-democracy? Was it like a regulation that was put in place, something like that? And also, you also talked about e-tools a couple of times. what kind of digital tools are you talking about, and what happens with these digital tools exactly? And maybe that's also a question for Viorica. I think when you're talking about the participatory processes, do you mainly refer to analog stuff, or is there also some hybrid going on? Is there a digital component to the participatory processor that you mentioned? Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I think we can start.
E-democracy tools is tools about petition, electronic, participate in session, in local session. People who can't come to local authorities now, because now all official building close for people, and they can speak with electronic devices. And budget, participatory budget. We have tools, electronic votes, голосование.
Well, voting.
Voting, electronic voting, and we have electronic voting about hard question in our community. That's something else. About our electronic conception, we prepare a document, legal document, and deputies, our country, our city, legal this document before 3 months of lockdown. When started lockdown, absolutely all local authorities cannot cannot do session, but our city can. We have a mechanism in lockdown, like e-democracy, like election in with electronic tools for all our city.
Did the city make those tools itself, or did you use existing tools?
No, not absolutely not. Not especially for our city, not. Zoom, yes. but all cities cannot do it because they have not legal document. Our city, with us, prepare this document.
So some cities are ahead
And
than
after,
others.
ну, как проголосовали депутаты, я не знаю, как сказать. Можешь помочь?
The deputies who voted.
Да.
Мгм.
И таким образом легализовали документ, который помог потом им работать с помощью электронного голосования, то, что нигде в Украине, ни в одном городе не было.
Okay, so there are some cities who, of course, voted for this document that allowed them to have this system. So some other cities are just behind that. So, but in her specific town, this option they have.
Это позволило принимать решения в таких критических моментах.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
I think Viorica, that also
Thank
applies
you for your
question.
question.
Yes, regarding as I understood, digital tools implementing or something in our project, As I said, through this project, we help to increase transparency of the local authorities. So we equipped these city halls with equipment special to live broadcasting the meetings of councils, so they can be watched or monitored through Facebook or other channels. For people, because people cannot attend these meetings, maybe they are not in the city or something like this, and this increase their participation or at least monitoring of the city council's work. And other points which we help for in these matters were to improve or to do some websites, because actually almost all public authorities have a website, and even in the law we have statements that each public authority should make all documents, all decisions, all acquisitions make public on the OBS website. But besides this, we made a lot of trainings on communication, both for local authorities and civil society, in order to teach them how to work with social media, because now it's faster to reach your audience, your citizens, and it became even more popular. Even mayors and public authorities communicate often or more often on social media to announce something, or even meetings, because on the websites they are not so popular.
Thank you very much. We are behind time, but maybe there's just one more question. If there's any time for one more question, please go ahead in the back.
Good afternoon. My name is Nuno Guzmão. I would like to ask, despite all the troubles you have, how do you evaluate the level of participation in democracy acts by the young people? Thank you.
Very good question. I think we did not really touch the youth-related issues, so maybe just briefly, if you can, Angelica, comment on that, and also Viorica. Yes. In both countries, right? So Ukraine, Moldova, both. All right.
In Dnipro, we have a youth parliament who work like a help for real parliament. These young people learn legal way to be deputy after some times. Okay, thank you.
In Moldova, we have a national youth platform with territorial, regional representations, and youth are pretty active in civic engagement, and there are also many organizations, and sometimes it's even easy to work, as I'm talking from point of view of ALDA or a grant giving to implement some projects with youth than with older people.
Well, maybe just add on that. I mean, ALDA, we have a hub, youth-related hub, so we do a lot of youth-related projects across Europe and beyond. Well, thank you very much for your time and for your interest into our panel again. And I'd like to also use this opportunity to thank the organization to give us also a platform to talk about Eastern Europe and showcase some examples to talk about local democracy. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the panel.
Thank you for your attention.
Painel dentro em pouco. Eu só gostava é que os colegas me confirmassem a hora exata de início do novo painel, por favor. Nós teríamos 15 minutos de intervalo agora e a seguir um novo painel. Portanto, este segundo painel estaria marcado para as 18 horas e 15 minutos. Vai manter-se essa hora? Uh, 6h30? 6h25? Às 18h20 voltamos a encontrar-nos aqui para um segundo e último painel desta tarde. Muito obrigada.
I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. And I don't know what it all means, but since I survived I realized wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I wanna hold you just for a while and die. next to you. Next to you. Right next to you. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. I'd wanna be next to you. When hope and love has been lost and you fall to the ground, you must find a way. When the darkness descends and you're told it's the end, you must find a way. When God decides to look the other way and a clown takes the throne, we must find a way. Face the firing squad against all the odds. You'll find a way. Dig down, dig down, dig down, and find faith when you're close to the edge. With a gun to your head, you must find a way. When friends are thin on the ground and they try to divide us, we must find a way. We have entered the fray and we will not obey. We must find a way.
Olá. Olá é um termo universal. Então, olá. Muito bem. Foi muito fraquinho, mas olá. Vamos dar início ao segundo e último painel desta tarde, neste Fórum Cultural Vallis Longus, nesta Sala das Artes, em Valongo. Organizado pelo Centro de Estudos Sociais da Universidade de Coimbra e moderado por Giovanni Allegretti, a quem chamo este palco. Muito obrigada. Giovanni Allegretti.
E aqui é o lugar. Olha, muito prazer. Bom, boa tarde a todas e a todos. I switched to English because we decided that we were going to speak mainly in English. So, welcome to this event, which is called Global Platform for Participatory Democracy. And I'm Giovanni Allegretti from the University of Coimbra. As said, that we have here two important speakers with a large experience. The first one is Arnau Monter de Mateo. Arnau is the Director of Democratic Innovation in the Barcelona city, and is one of the co-founders of the Decidim project. Holding a PhD in Information and Knowledge Society by the Open University of Catalonia. He has been promoting also the Ateneo of Democratic Innovation in Barcelona, which is a laboratory for research and action on the relation between democracy and technology. And he's very interested in studying also emerging forms of political participation and democracy in a networked society. And second, we have Carla Becerra. She served as a Director of Digital Participation and Network Communication at the General Secretariat of the Brazilian Presidency. And there she has been working mainly on the creation and she oversees the Brazilian Participativo platform, Brasil Participativo. But already since 2011, she has been working for the Brazilian federal government as a specialist in public policy and governmental management. And she gained extensive experience across various different programs, working both as a practitioner and also as a scholar focusing on democracy and the relation between the civil society and the states in relation to participatory policies and digital participation. Carla is also part of an organization from which there are several members also here, which is People Powered, a non-profit organization that promotes participatory democracy around the globe. And as a scholar, she holds a PhD in political science from the University of São Paulo and a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Brasilia. So I'm here with the emotioning task of listening to them, but also to try to keep their intervention in the tracks we have imagined of around 25-30 minutes each, and then having a half an hour of discussion with you in the room. So I will be informing you when there are 10 minutes and 5 minutes missing, so that you can eventually rearrange your speech. And we will start with I don't remember if it's who is the start. It depends on what is there. Arnau? Okay. So we start with Arnau here. Yes, you can come here, and you have here to change the slides if you want.
Sì. Hello.
Sì, perché interfere. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'll do my presentation in English, but my slides are in Spanish. You can recheck the different contents just to facilitate the things that I'm going to try to explain. And it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be part of this conference and coming from Barcelona, which is an important city of this organization, and this is why we believe that we would like to share the things that we are doing, but especially trying to address one of the main questions that maybe we should have today, and it is what is happening with democracy today, okay, and which things we are doing in the cities and in the other organizations at the different levels. I think that it's important to focus on the context. I will try to explain the context of Barcelona, but also trying to bring a broader context of the crisis of democracy, because always we are talking about democracy, but today the democracy is like crossed by a lot of multiple crises: the crisis of representation, the crisis of the open conflicts as the war, the crisis of the inequalities that is affecting obviously the democracy, but also the crisis of trustness. All of these crises are affected by technologies, and this is why, from our perspective, the technologies are a key point on how the democracy is developing today. We cannot understand the democracy today without to understand what is happening in the digital arena. And also, and I think that this is a key point, no one has the final answer about how we should address these multiple crises of democracy. And there is a lot of no orientation about what we have to do about attending this crisis. We are trying a lot of different things, and obviously there is no one solution. This is impossible. But there is a lack of incapacity to see which are the main important goals to address to face these multiple crises. And I think that from the public perspective, from the public institutions perspective, and from the governments, also we need to think how we could improve our ideas when we have to address our political crisis. It's not easy to find solutions, but I think that we should push our governments, and we as a public institutions, we should work with others to see how we could address these solutions in a participatory way. And coming back to the digital, we need to address this question about what happens with the digital technologies, because we have a lack of capacity to run public and democratic technologies to run our policies. We are sending all our policies to the private sector, and there is no public leading of the digital policies. And I think that this is a key point, which is the context of the Barcelona City Council. Obviously at the city level, and where we gonna locate in a part of my intervention, we have this moment that there is we have a richness in our city. We have a lot of people claiming for rights, a lot of people doing demonstrations, a lot of people organize it in a different participatory councils that we have on the city. We have a richness on this idea of what is it, the collective intelligence. And we have the responsibility to address from the government of the city, to address this collective intelligence, which definitely is a huge challenge. And we are very lucky because the city has a long tradition of citizen participation, of democratic innovation at the different levels. And we have legislation that is allowing to us to run different participatory spaces in the city. And thanks to that, Barcelona today has been kind of thanks reference to other cities, working together with others and thinking together with others to see how we can improve our democracies at the local level, but not only a local level. And also, just to focus the context, we are in Barcelona has all this initiative to be the first European capital of democracy, which is an European initiative that it has bring to the city a lot of different events and participatory actions from September 2024 until today. We are just in the closing of this year of democracy in Barcelona. I'm going to talk about the CIDIM platform, a project that we start in Barcelona on 2016, and this project has been growing a lot, and I will try to share this experience because we believe that definitely it's a success story, and we have to think how we can share this in order to share learnings about how we can do public policies around citizen participation from the public sector. What is the CIDIM? The CIDIM is a digital platform for participatory democracy to run any kind of participatory and democratic processes. Also, is an open source technology or free technology. This means that everybody can share the code, copy the code, modify the code, distribute the code in a free way, which means that anybody can use, everybody can use the platform, and also is an international experience, as later Carla will explain. Today, the CIDIM is used by more than 500 organizations around the world in 30 countries. It has been translated to more than 60 languages. And there is more than 3 million of users around the world. I think that more than 3, thanks to Brazil, after the experience that Carla will share later. But it's interesting because it's used by governments at the different levels, national level, regional level, federal level, but also local level. And it has been used also by civil society organizations, NGOs, cooperatives, etc. It has been for any kind of organization who wants to run a democratic process inside the organization. Some examples, the participatory budgeting on the city of New York, the different strategies of participation in Brazil, the European Commission, the city of Helsinki, on France, Japan, Canada, etc. These are some examples. How it works? It works in this model that we call it the hybrid model. It works doing an intersection between the digital and the physical. The CIDIM combines the physical meeting, the physical encounter, the work together, but also it extends this participation in the digital arena. You can create proposals, have discussion, deliberation, but also you can run physical meetings, you can vote, you can prioritize, you can discuss regulatory texts, you can do a lot of things. You can run signatures on petitions, etc. It allows you to run almost the most important participatory actions that you can do in a digital way. And also we try to explain also this idea of how you have done this. You create a platform and it has been used through around the world, but we are a public institution, a small public institution as a city, and we don't have a selling department. We just share the code and we just explain how, and we try to help others to use in an easy way. And this is why we decide to create the different conditions to extend the project. But there is one specific characteristic of this initiative, which is maybe the key point From the beginning, we start to feed a community around the project. From the beginning, from the zero moment of the project, we start to work with the community, with researchers, with activists, with policymakers, with technical officers in the different public institutions. We start to work together with a lot of different people interested in participatory democracy. And we design this tool in a participatory and democratic way. This is very important because it put the initial conditions of the platform. And when we are designing platforms for democracy, we need to internalize the idea of the platform has to be designed in a democratic way. This seems very redundant, but it's the reality. We work together with others designing this. And today we have a global community. We have contributions, and we have organized way to work with others, with Brazil, with Japan, with all the people who is using and spreading this model. Our experience in Barcelona, because the Decidim is the mother project, but in Barcelona we have our use case, and just to share some important data, because after 6 or 7 years we have a long history and tradition of participation collected in the same place, in the platform, Decidim.Barcelona. We have more than 150,000 people registered in the platform. We have collected in a different participatory actions and process more than 30,000 proposals, and we have collected more than 4,000 physical meetings. And today you can check all of this information about what has happening in the city and which topics has been discussed and which commitments has been taken by the public administration and which results has been executed. You have the whole picture in this platform. This is a kind of place where you can find everything about the history of participation of the city, thanks to the different possibilities that we are running. Why a platform like that is an opportunity? It's an opportunity because it allows us to organize all the strategy on citizen participation at the city level in one place. And we are trying to standardize the culture of participation, not unicize, but yes, to give to the citizens the same experience. Because if the citizens knows that they can be part of the different participatory actions or process, then it's an exercise to improve the way in which citizens participate all the time. The Decidim also allows an easy access to the information, an easy access to the ability to be part of something collective, an ability to be part of the decision-making process of the city, and also, and this is maybe one of our goals, is allows us to work as a kind of social network for citizen participation. The Decidim allows you have you have your user, and you can mention others, and you can have dialogues, and you can you can work as a social network with one definitely a better improvement than the social networks, that you have the capacity to run the rules to govern this platform. Today, we don't have the capacity to decide what is happening inside Twitter or X, or we don't have the capacity to have a decision about how Instagram is showing us the information, but we have the capacity to decide which information we work with others to see in this platform. Whoa. One of the main strategies that we have been running in the city are the participatory budgeting strategy. This was the last edition. Just 1 week ago, we launched this edition. But I want to share this experience because it has been amazing. We put 30 million euros in the 10 districts of the city, and the citizens of Barcelona could decide about how they could invest these 30 millions. We have 10 districts in the city. It was around 3 million for each district, applying some correction items. During the process, we get the participation of more than 70,000 people on the process, And after all the process to collect the projects, refine the projects, and voting, we had 76 projects. And the interesting thing is that today, after 3 years, we are in the level of execution of 85% of the projects. We invest almost the 30 million that we had at the beginning. Yes, and everybody is happy. This is an example of a child garden in the school and how it was before the participatory budgeting and how it's today. This is interesting because we have seen how emerge new communities in the city, the families in the school, the sport organizations claiming for a new, for example, cricket field, how the people is worried about the climate change and the important to have green areas in the city, etc. These are some examples on how this is working on the city. And thanks to the CDM, you can check and you can go to the detail of the level of execution of each project. You can navigate for the districts and you can see each project which is the level of development. This allows us, in terms of accountability, it's really amazing because all the citizens can see and can check the things that we are doing, and also they can claim on the things that we are doing bad. This is another example. We create kind of small research about the success of the different projects, and in order to see the cost and the level of executions and the problems that we have found during the project. And this is the campaign that we are running today. Until the 29th of November, the citizens of Barcelona are proposing projects for the different districts of the city. And again, we have an exercise of, we call it direct democracy exercise, because at the end, the citizens will vote for the projects that they want for their own districts. On this edition, we are trying to reinforce all the strategy to include everyone in the process, to work with young people, with old people, but also the people from different parts of the city and different, how to work in an inclusive strategy to not leave anyone behind. And also to work internally as to have more capacity to answer at the technical level the execution of the projects. Which are, after present, the CDM initiative and also the experience of Barcelona. I have 4 minutes, I'm okay?
Yes, don't worry, I don't know what this is.
We are okay. Okay. I just would like to address the 4 more important challenges that we have in front of us, and I think that we could share after our experience. The first one is that we need to go further, and we need to see how we can improve the governance of our cities, our governments, our regions in a democratic way. We have to think in how we can create the democratic spaces in every layer of the decision-making process. This is not only one time every 4 years I asking you which is your opinion about one thing. We have to create a democratic culture in order to create the conditions to allow the people to participate if they want. I am not saying that we have to be participating all the time, 24 hours a day, because it should be exhausting, but we have to open the possibility to create more channels to be part of the decisions that are affecting our everyday life. Because this is the way to create a democratic culture. If we create a democratic culture, we can face the most important challenges about what is happening with hate speech or what is happening with with the war and the main important conflicts that we are facing today. We have to address the democratic culture, practicing democracy. And practicing democracy is not just voting every the electoral period. It's involve and create the conditions to allow citizens and civil society organizations and all the actors that are part of our societies to imagine together our future. And also we have to do it helping that with the tools that we have in the 21st century. We have digital channels, and we have a lot of data and a lot of information. We have capacity to understand in a complex way the things that are happening, and we have to combine this different knowledge. We have to combine the citizen knowledge, the historical knowledge, but also the knowledge applied by the things that we are doing. I think that in 5 minutes I'm going to finish.
No, it's just I'm scared because this is scaring, but we don't know what it is. So it's,
okay, I have a little bit more time. Okay. And this is why we think that we have to extend this idea of participatory democracy, because we know very well how it was the representative democracy. We know how to vote. In general, we know how to vote. This is not easy in all countries, but in general, we know how to vote. And it's not easy to find the different ways of democracy in the representative democracy. We know how it works, or we should know how it works, the direct democracy, when we are voting in a referendum on a direct votation. But this idea of participatory democracy is what happens during the periods of the electoral periods and the electoral elections. In the middle of these 4 or 5 years that we have elections, why we cannot experiment and practice with democracy in different ways. We are in the 21st century. We are in the digital area. We are in the moment that everything is easy with digital technologies. Why I cannot decide more things than I'm doing just voting once every 4 years? And this is the main goal, how we invent democratic practices during the periods to be part of something that is affecting my everyday life. The other thing, I just missed, yes. I think that we have to promote, to do that, I have to promote spaces and networks to think, to share, to experiment, to see how we can do it better. We are working together with Brazil. Barcelona and Brazil have a really amazing alliance trying to imagine this at the different levels, at the different scales, but sharing some principles and thinking together how is the opportunity to reimagine this participatory democracy with the specific things, running a specific participatory process and actions in order to engage the people in a democratic way. I think that we need to create this kind of collaboration and cooperation in a real way. And we have to do it with infrastructures. We need to develop infrastructures, not just digital, also physical, places where the people can be part of collective dynamics. And also this is why, and just to finish, and putting the question of this table on the center is why I believe that this is a huge opportunity for democracy at the global level, because this idea of cooperation and this idea to create conditions on how we can imagine together with others at the global level the challenges that we have to face, because in general we are having a lot of common problems, and definitely if we have the same problems or similar problems, definitely we will find similar solutions. And we are creating digital infrastructures and participatory infrastructures that are allowing to us to address these problems in a democratic and a participatory way. And definitely this is an opportunity to us. And we want to go further that, and we want to go further on how we can do strengthen this capacity to collaborate and this capacity to institutionalize this cooperation in order to improve our democracies. Thank you, and I think that I'm finished on time.
Thank you very much, Arnaud, also for leaving like the stage more than 5 minutes before, despite what is written there that we still don't know. I think that among the different things you said, it's very interesting what you remarked, that there is still a limited public leadership on digital policies, because this has a lot of consequences. The first one is that sometimes the public institution acquire the tool and they forget to put the right rules on it. So I'm thinking how the European Commission, Union, the three institutions that did the conference on the future of Europe, used your platform in the first period. They didn't say who was going to look to the things that people was writing on it. And so the people was frustrated because they did a lot of efforts to put things on the platform, but they did not know if they were being read and by whom and what was going to happen with the things they wrote. So the second element is related to the fact that sometimes not even buying, because this is an open and free tool, but just having the tool is enough, and because it's a tool. So some institutions, they don't think that when you tailor, when you adequate the general tool to the condition of your city, the tool is also the representation, the showroom of a community, a welcome community. And so if you put in a city with a lot of immigrants, you put the picture taken from Google archives of Swedish blonde people, you are not representing your potential audience. And this mismatching between the tool and the idea that the tool is also a community, and that has to be adapted to make, I don't know, people with disabilities feel welcome, it's a very important step. No? Sometimes you get a almost free tool and you think you can adapt. The third thing is that the tool is never really free, because it needs to work on it, no? So when I was chairing the Tuscany Authority for Participation, one thing that we realized is that big entities were able to use tools like the CDIM, so that are open and free, and the smallest, to which we thought the tool was directed, especially because they didn't have energy to buy something, were not using, because the tool for them is also the possibility of collecting data, and they were scared to collect data themselves, so they wanted a full service done by some private actors, and they preferred to buy a small, very limited platform than using a tool with high potential like Decidim, which needed to be interpreted, which needed to have tutorials to be downloaded and adapted. And in the end, you do something for the poorest among the institutions, and you realize that maybe you need a meso level of regions that can help the municipality, the small municipality, to use the tool. Otherwise, the tool becomes the tool for ministries, for regions, for metropolis. No, and these elements is always part of what you were saying. There is not enough reflection on having a public leadership in the digital world. Okay, so Carla, it's your time. This time is okay. There is 30, so you have your time. And it's the control is there. Okay, so.
So thank you very much, first Arnaud, for inviting me to this panel. It's been a pleasure to work in collaboration with Decidim. And thank you very much, Giovanni, for accepting to be the moderator at the last minute. So I don't know if I think my presentation's here. So to talk about how to build a global platform for participatory democracy, I thought of talking about scaling up. The challenge of scaling up it may be seen both as coming out from the local level where most of the participatory experiences are, and also to the federal level as we are doing in Brazil, but also to scale up in terms of numbers. We know that many times the types of participatory spaces that we build not necessarily are available for all the citizens, and not all the citizens participate. And I think the challenge to reach the most people is one that we are all facing when we want to build up a global platform. So I would like to tell you a little story about how to scale up digital participation. And this is the timeline of what types of different platforms we've had in Brazil since 2009 for participation. And this is kind of a story that mixes up both with the development of digital tools. So think back in 2009, smartphones, iPhone had 2 years. It had been launched in 2007. So, and in Brazil, most people use internet through smartphones. So this was an important tool for democratizing the access. And also back in 2009, we didn't have the digital government as much developed as we have today. So today we have more than 5,000 services available for citizens online. We have a unique digital identity. And back in 2009, most of our administrative process were mostly on paper. So this timeline reflects a lot of things. And also it, in a way, drinks from the source of the participatory experience, in-person participatory experiences that we have in Brazil. So most of you probably know participatory budgeting, which many people, the story of how it was created back in Porto Alegre in the 80s, late 80s. I think most of you have already heard about it and how it spread it around the world. But also in Brazil, we do have lots of participatory councils, participatory conferences, and all other sorts of formats. And this is the reaching from the first virtual conference that we held back in 2009 until Brasil Participativo, it's our platform currently. We do have also a long story of merging, blending, and trying to mix the in-person and the digital tools. So, well, I would tell in detail first the story of, it's kind of hard to translate to English, but it's the Participatory Youth Observatory, which was one of the first kind of networks that we had. It arose from a mess. So back in 2013, as other places around the globe have seen many demonstrations, big, important demonstrations that were called on internet, but on that time back in Facebook. And also that happened in Spain in 2011, and in Brazil in 2013, we saw massive demonstrations that were known as the June Journeys. Their interpretation is controversial. Many people say that they were a right-wing demonstration. Some say it was anarchist. Some say all the ideologies were blended there. But the important thing is that they did not have a clear leadership. They were the most massive demonstrations that we had in Brazil since the 80s. And the government didn't know how to deal with it. And one of the responses, I was back then working at the youth secretariat, and we were already trying to build a platform, and we had to rush to release it, because this was a way of trying to say to the streets that, hey, we are doing something, and the idea was to build a network, a network for youth policy. So this was like one of the first initiatives that we had. It wasn't the best response for the massive protests that we had, but it was built within this context. And back then, it was already developed in an open source software. It was a Brazilian open source called Nosfero. And all the following experiences were also built on this type of software, which was the next one. So at the same time, okay. So at the same time that we built the Youth Participatory Observatory, we also had the discussions, the first legal framework on the use of internet in Brazil was happening. And this was known as, in Portuguese, is Marco Civil da Internet, which is like civil legal framework on internet. Or it's not exactly this translation. And so, and back then, the free open source software movement, hackers, activists wanted that this discussion about internet should be done on a digital tool as well. So that's how we developed, at the time, the first methodology that then became consolidated, called as public consultation. So the idea is that you have, people can discuss in detail all the legal text before it's actually approved in the Congress. So this was done in the legal internet framework, and it was it had a lot of repercussion, international repercussion. And on April 2014, Dilma was still president of Brazil. It was before that, 2 years before her impeachment, and she signed the law that after this important movement and the first digital consultation that we had. And at the same time, in this same, World Net, it's like one of the most, it's called Global Multi-Stakeholder Meeting on the Future of Internet Governance. That year was held in Brazil, and it's one of the most important forums on internet governance. She signed the law, the bill, and also we launched the discussion on having a platform just for doing public consultations. Okay. And that's how we released Participa.br, which was the first stable digital platform that we had. It was also developed, just like the Youth Participatory, it was developed in Nosfero, which is an open source software developed in Brazil. And then there we have, we could do a lot of public consultations, discuss all sorts of laws at federal level, and then several agencies started to, before sending their bill to the Congress, they would launch a public consultation. And this kind of methodology stabilized, and it was kept after Dilma's impeachment. We had Michel Temer's government, and then Bolsonaro's government, and this was kept all the way into a platform called Participa Mais Brasil. So it was the same methodology, but with a different technology. And until today, we have this platform working on, and we are trying to incorporate this into our new tool. So, but before we get to the, so that's where we are. We are still in 2014. So if you see Participa.br there on number 4, you can see that this same methodology was translated into a different technology, Participa Mais Brasil, and it was kept around from 2019, it's still on. 2014, 2019, we had a change of government, and it's still on to today. So more than 10 years working. We have more than 90 agencies in the federal government that use this kind of methodology. We hold around 30 public consultations per month. So it's very intensively used, but if you look at the numbers of the people who are participating, you can see that it's still much less than 300,000 people in a whole country. It's still very little if you consider that this was around, it was during 10 years. And how did we reach then in 2 months 1.4 million people? So that's when where the methodology changes. And I would say that before arriving to Brasil Participativo, we had an experience of trying to connect digital and in-person tools. And this was back in 2015 during what we call national conferences. So in Brazil, we have this tradition of holding massive conferences about a specific policy issue, for example, health. So all the municipalities, we have 5,000 municipalities in Brazil, have to hold a discussion, a debate, a public debate, and then they elect delegates that are then that then go to a state-level conference where they discuss what are the most important issues on health for the state, and then they elect delegates that go to the national level conference that then discusses all the guidelines for health policies in the whole country. Usually the national level has around like 1,000 to 2,000 people, 2,000 elected delegates that go and discuss the certain issue. And we hold this kind of conferences for around 40 different policies. So it's a big thing, although it's not very well known around the globe. And we did this to the youth conference. So instead of doing like all this kind of filter that you have to elect a delegate from the municipal level to the state level, then to the national level, we said, why don't we have digital delegates? Let's elect directly from the app. You can elect, you can make your proposal. The most common and voted proposals are going to the national level directly. And that's what we did. So this is a picture of our National Youth Conference in 2015. So this was like the opening, and we had around 2,000 youth delegates participating. 1/4 were elected by the app directly. And then, as I said, we had this kind of moment of interruption in participatory innovation. We did not have, during Bolsonaro's government, we did not have a lot of space to innovate, but certain platforms, certain spaces were kept because they are also related to transparency, accountability, and they are important at international level to be kept. So we had this methodology being kept to today. And when we arrived, when President Lula was reelected back in 2023, we said, well, we have a long story of building these platforms, but we have to go a step further. And that's when we launched Brasil Participativo. So Brasil Participativo has the challenge to both to integrate all these different tools and methodologies that we have been developing all these years. At the same time, it has to connect the different in-person participatory experiences that we have in Brazil. So how to connect, we cannot separate, we cannot think of the digital apart from the in-person anymore. We are in a new moment. So how do we entangle this into a massive digital process? How can more people participate? And one of the key things, so this is, our first process was then to discuss the pluriannual plan. The pluriannual plan is one of the bills related to the budget, although it does not talk directly about budget, but it makes a plan for the next 4 years of government. And that's the moment where we discuss the most important priorities. So in the first year of government, we launched this pluriannual participatory plan. And we reached about 1.4 million people. We had 8,000 proposals and more than 4 million access. And how did we reach these numbers so fast? One of the key issues was to thinking of connecting, so we had the platform, the Brasil Participativo, as the main source of where people would comment and vote. But also we had extensive plenaries, assemblies, big assemblies held in every state. So we had 27 huge assemblies that reached from 500 to 2,000 people participating in person. The first one had the president participating in it, and the other ones were also, we also had always high authorities to give you, to show that this was an important space that would be considered. So these are the numbers. So we had around 34,000 people participating in person in the process, and plus, in those assemblies, they would present how their proposal was had been done inside the platform. So they would show the Brasil Participativo, they would show how their proposal was there. And besides that, we also have kind of a governance forum, which is the Intercouncil Forum, which connected representatives from different civil society organizations that would also follow up all the discussion. And they are kind of an instance of discussing, for example, we had 8,000 proposals. So how do we consider these proposals? How do we analyze? And this was kind of like a political council to discuss all the process as well. So this is so just to show you a little, this is the access, the daily access of Brasil Participativo during the pluriannual plan process. And you can see that, well, most people participate in the end. This is related both to learning how to use the tool, but also to, hey, the deadline is tomorrow, please submit your proposal. Please vote. But you can see that there are some tiny waves that go up and down, and these waves are directly related to the assemblies that we're doing. So every time that we had an in-person assembly, you could see that there was a peak in the access of the platform, and this was really one was reconnecting the other, so we could see that the in-person and the digital were kind of walking together. We also did a similar experience reusing the methodology created back in 2015 to make national conference, a youth national conference again, but this time in the new platform. We also had a significant participation. And, but one thing that we didn't want to make mistakes was into the technology choice. So when we built Brasil Participativo, we looked back in that story that I told you, and we saw that the open source software that we had used to the other tools, it was discontinued. And we were very much concerned, in a way, we wanted to guarantee that we had digital autonomy, that we would not use paid softwares and paid solutions. But also, we wanted to have a tool, an open source tool, that would guarantee also sustainability in the long run. And one of the choices that we made from this decision, I think are now presented, was to choose a platform that had been able to build an ecosystem in which different governments, enterprises, NGOs were using it, and you had a sustainable association. And one of the reasons that we chose Decidim was that we could see that there are other possibilities and solutions, but Decidim was, at the moment, the one that we consider to be more sustainable in the long run. And we have been now working together to guarantee, to make sure that this is the case, that we can create actually a space for platforms to be continuing in the long run. But also, we wanted to make some development. We needed to make some developments in the platform and to adapt and customize it to the reality of the Brazilian government and of Brazilian citizens. And one of the key things for us was to integrate with our digital unique identity. As I mentioned, now we have around 5,000 public services that are accessed by Brazilians by this unique digital identity that uses our taxpayer number. So anyone who has a taxpayer number, usually above 18 years old, can access directly the platform. And this is also a safeguard for transparent process. We were very much concerned about having hacker attacks, hate speech, and all sorts of things that we know that are very common in the internet these days and in democracies. So this was a concern, and it worked very well. We have not had many problems with hate speech as we expected in the beginning. Another thing, so one thing that we made huge changes in the Decidim platform, and we have been discussing this a lot with the Decidim Association, is the need for the tool to be mobile friendly. So in Brazil, 81% of people above 10 years old have internet, they have access to internet. But the thing is not to have the access, but what kind of access. And from this 81%, 62% of Brazilians access exclusively by mobile, which means that they do not have a computer. They do not have a full, a high-speed internet access, but usually they will have a very slow internet connection in those packages that sometimes offer you free access only to WhatsApp, to certain networks. And so our concern was we have to build something that is light, that can be used in a poor internet connection, and that can be adapted to mobile, where most people access. And in fact, in our pluriannual plan, 90% of people access it only by mobile. And so that our tool is mobile first. We try to make the development, the customization mobile first, and we are trying to bring this concern to the CIDIN as well. Also, in Brazil, we have to comply with several guidelines for usability and inclusion to guarantee accessibility for people with discapacities. So we also developed specifically, for example, in Brazil, we have the Brazilian Sign Language, and all the website, all the CIDIN tool, all Brasil Participativo is now available for Brazilian Sign Language and other high contrast and other kind of tools. So this is the current phase of Brasil Participativo. We invite you to reach for we have national conferences, public consultations, different tools that we use. And just to give you some examples of the most important processes that are now currently on the platform, we have we are in the second round of the discussion of the climate plan. So we are building in a participatory way the climate plan. It's called, in Brazil, it's just called climate plan, but it's against climate changes. And we are openly discussing this, and we hope to bring this experience to COP 30 that is going to happen in Brazil next year, and to show how can we involve citizens directly into discussing one of the biggest issues of our times, which is climate change. We have the G20. So currently in November, we are going to hold the G20 summit in Brazil, and we are doing social G20, and one of the forums that you can participate is through Brasil Participativo. And we are also holding some conferences, such as the environmental conference in the platform. So please take a look. One other, least but not least, we are also involved in discussing one of the biggest challenges when we are talking about a big country and an extremely unequal country as Brazil. It's how to reach everyone, how to include everyone, even those who have poor internet access or those who maybe do not have, are not familiar with digital tools. So we are in what we call, it's called Gov2Gov Innovation Incubator Challenge that is hosted by the OECD. And we are working in collaboration with the New York Prefecture and London Greater Authority to discuss and to build also digital tools that can overcome, not only digital tools, but we are thinking about in-person and digital methodologies that can overcome the challenges of low digital inclusion. And here is our team. So we are a team that is made by bureaucrats from the federal government, but also from the university. We have a collaboration with the University of Brasilia, and that works as an accelerator of innovation. And I invite you to go to our platform and take a look. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. You also saved some time for the debate. I very much appreciated the fact that you used the timeline to explain the changes, because especially in 2006, where the Web 2.0 was born. There was the feeling of many people that was organizing participatory processes that digital dimension was a big risk because it was leading to use tools as a sort of calculator just to create winners and losers, just to sum up individual preferences instead of deliberating. And you show in this line of time that the concerns about the need to create on one side deeper deliberation, and on the other side a systemic change that could support different relation between the tools was very important. And the last slide you show with the attention to inclusive dimension, but also one of the line was dedicated to co-design of the tools. You know? So the ultimate possibility that the CEDIM does with also a community of developers, which is also which are socially engaged. No, also is the idea of co-designing with the person that you want to be the next users, and they are still not maybe a big amount of the present users. So this idea that systems are on the same time horizontal, so they need to connect the different tools, but they need also to dialogue with representative democracy and with direct democracy. Today, maybe something that's in Spain and in Brazil is still not developed. It's happening in, for example, in the United States or in Switzerland, that citizen panels are being used to prepare citizens for the referendum, for example, no? In order to create a deliberative moment that can help them to orient themselves in the jungle of information. And this idea was developed, for example, in the multi-annual participatory plan in Brazil. You had the need to not only to propose new things, but also to look to the things that were in the political program and try to choose some of them that were more urgent. So the dimension of choosing between different basin of ideas means using the tools in a different way, because you have to deposit document that people have to look in order to choose the measure that they want to prioritize among the very large political proposals. So this dimension is the horizontal, but then there is a vertical one, which is also important, which allows, for example, in the case of Portugal, we had one problem when the law in 2017 provided the need, the compulsory mandatory participatory budgeting in school, and there was a problem in that moment that you had a lot of around 1,000 schools in Portugal that had to do participatory budgeting. Each one was using a different platform, and then the ministry had a problem in controlling what was happening in the 1,000 platforms. So now the CEDIM is prepared to something that some years ago did not exist, but there's the possibility to have local processes, and then they can converge in a global one that can control what's happening at local level. So all this level of integration are at work. In the case of Brazil, is showing really a valuable use of the possibilities of a platform like the CEDIM, for example. So let's open the debate with the audience. So please, the people who raised their hands can very briefly introduce themselves with their name so that they can answer in a more familiar way. And please try to be concise in posing the question. We will do one round of 3-4 questions, and then we will answer and then do in the next round, okay? Because some questions can cross each other. I see another one there after. There is only, and there. So there is there only one mic or more than one? Only one microphone? No, just only one. Okay, so you have to bring the microphone from there to there, and then there and there. Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Kadir Koban. I'm from Turkey, and I'm a PhD candidate in University of Lisbon. My first question for the Arnau. I hope I did well for pronunciation. So you showed us the Decidim, and I think you started years ago for this project, for this platform. Then I think you organized participatory budgeting. So I was a little bit like curious about the connections between the actors in this process, because in Decidim you are getting lots of data, detailed data about the people's opinion, but how did you institutionalize this process, this data, to change the municipality's agenda or affect also maybe the state's base of government or the national government? I'm curious about how Spain generally using these valuable data. And my second question for the Carla, I hope I have right. It's really short. As far as I know, we see the polarization increased a lot in Brazil, especially in the last presidential election. And I'm curious about, do you have any like a precaution, or do you have like any policy to how can I say, eliminate this effect from the, how can I say, your data? Because I think this situation also can manipulate some data. So I'm curious about the effect of this. And also your platform is like a Brazil-based, not only for local government, Brazil-based program. I'm also curious about your mechanism to using this data for your state agenda. Thanks a lot.
Okay, there. The lady there. Okay. Yeah. Stay there, because the next is him, so maybe. Okay.
Muito obrigada. Eu posso me expressar na língua portuguesa?
Sim, sim, pode.
Sim, uma vez mais queremos desejar boa noite a todos. Dizer que chamo-me Geraldina Uchavo Bonifácio, sou presidente do Conselho Municipal da Vila de Boane. Para a realidade do Brasil é perfeita, e para Portugal penso que é presidente da Câmara. Dizer que é um prazer enorme estar aqui e saudar as apresentações que foram feitas, principalmente como a nossa irmã do Brasil fez com muita paixão e trouxe a questão da juventude como uma resposta para salvaguardar a participação democrática dentro dos nossos contextos. Os jovens atualmente estão com muita vontade de querer quebrar alguns paradigmas e poder se fazer muito presente e dizer o que elas querem em voz própria e não em algum momento por algumas representações. Dizer que, como moçambicana, de facto, orgulha-me ouvir de forma apaixonada, como vocês falaram, das vossas experiências. Nós fomos eleitos para um ciclo de governação de 2024 a 2028. E uma das nossas maiores responsabilidades foi criar um espaço para que os jovens e as mulheres possam ser escutadas em observatórios municipais. Realmente, quando estive a acompanhar a apresentação, eu disse, uau, em algum momento o que fizemos no nosso município está a ser feito em outras realidades. E gostaríamos de fazer a ponte e, se possível, uma conversa paralela para trazer algumas abordagens para levar os nossos jovens a conseguir construir uma identidade própria e para resolver os seus problemas, porque realmente há muitos desafios, principalmente nos processos pós-eleitorais. Há muitos jovens a serem usados para fazerem manifestações Há muitos jovens que estão a ser usados para fazer as campanhas eleitorais, mas quando chega a hora de alistar ou nomeá-los para os melhores lugares de tomada de decisão, estes jovens são, na maior parte das vezes, preteridos. Quando falo de jovens, incluo também as raparigas. E, uma vez mais, queremos agradecer esta oportunidade e sentimos com muito orgulho por ter ouvido-vos já falar desta forma apaixonada. Muito obrigada.
Obrigado. Roberto?
Hi, Roberto Falanga, University of Lisbon. Thank you very much for sharing such great, the information about such great participatory processes in Barcelona and in Brazil. I have a question for both of you. It's a very short one, and it is about the extent to which these processes, including the platforms, depend on the current representatives. So what I mean is, if these processes really rely on a stable and structured institutions, or whether they depend on the elected officials that they stand at the moment in your municipality, in the case of Barcelona, and in Brazil. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The last one is to Cesare. Oh, okay, there are 2 mics now, so it will be easier. So who wants to ask for the second round? Please raise the hand while he's...
¿Puedo hablar español? ¿Sí? Sí.
Okay.
Buenas tardes, soy Cesare Ottolini, soy coordinador global de la Alianza Internacional de Habitantes. Tengo dudas. Y la duda es, ¿la democracia participativa no está corriendo riesgo de quedar como una especie de reserva indiana? Es decir, un pequeño lugar donde hay algunos que son un poco raros que debaten de democracia. Es bastante provocatoria esta pregunta, pero sí está relacionada con el desarrollo del uso de la inteligencia artificial en el gobierno de las ciudades. No creo que es tan rara mi pregunta, tan provocatoria. Es decir, ¿qué opinan ustedes sobre los desafíos que tiene que enfrentar la democracia participativa con relación al gobierno general, en particular a los cambios de los gobiernos que están interviniendo en este preciso momento? O sea, estamos pasando desde un régimen de democracia más o menos representativa a un régimen de ademocracia. De una parte el populismo, de otra parte delegar aún más no solamente herramientas, sino decisiones políticas a entidades que no tienen en su corazón la democracia, sino el provecho supuestamente encubierto por algoritmos.
Ok, empezamos la respuesta de Carla por 2 razones. La primera, para invertir el orden. La segunda es que Arnau está tomando notas y Carla no, entonces por lo menos tu memoria puede responder luego antes de olvidársela toda.
So we used all sorts of languages, so I don't really know which. So I will first answer to Geraldine. Vou responder em português, como ela fez a pergunta, em português. Primeiro, agradecer muito que tenha gostado das apresentações. Muito interessante saber que a gente tem isso sendo desenvolvido em Moçambique e me colocar à disposição para a gente marcar uma conversa e conhecer um pouco mais da experiência também. Acho que vai ser super interessante. E essa troca entre Brasil e Moçambique, a gente tem uma parceria sempre importante. E acho que sempre importante reforçar nossos laços também. I will answer the other ones in English, so I'll try to answer in the language that they were made. So first, I'm sorry because I didn't have anything to take notes, so I don't remember your name. Kadir. So Kadir, we do have, so what we have in the platform is that we call terms of use. So, for example, we do not allow hate speech or fake news or other kinds of disinformation or kind of manipulation, also marketing, private marketing. So anything that offends the terms of use is moderated. We do have human moderation, but this is like very lowly used. And as I mentioned, as we use this digital unique identity, we do not have had it hasn't been the case that we have, for example, hacker invasions or bots of all sorts of manipulation because of this, the digital unique identity. Because we do, if someone enters, we can identify and
expel.
Yeah, and make restrictions. But the thing is, for example, in the case of the participatory pluriannual plan, we had 8,254 proposals, and only 40 had to be moderated. Most of them were because of marketing. So we do not have, so that was a big concern, especially as you mentioned, as polarization rises, and we were very much concerned about it, but it wasn't the case. And the thing is, when you're discussing a specific policy, the polarization does not show as much as when you're actually just voting for different positions. But we do have, for example, in the National Youth Conference, where we had delegates elected, we didn't know at the time, but then when we met the in-person delegates, we knew that some of them were more pro-Workers' Party and some of them were more pro-Jair Bolsonaro. So we have had pro-Bolsonaro elected in the platform, and some people complained to us, and we said, but that's democracy, that's how things are done. We have to show all the positions, so this does happen. Well, concerning Roberto, nice to meet you in person. We have had the opportunity to discuss in other online sessions. So I think currently, I would say that Brasil Participativo is still not a stable, highly institutionalized platform, but we are making efforts to make this technology, both technology and methodology, to be able to not be something of one government, one party government, but to be able to be stable in time and to be continued. And we are doing this so by, first, I think the choice of a sustainable technology, then trying to make some law commitments in order to enable this to be something that is permanently adopted. Also, like international commitments, all this kind of things. They are able to draw a line in more institutionalized tool that is able to survive the electoral cycle. So this is certainly our concern, and we know that most participatory innovations fail during this the change of the incumbent. So this is certainly an important issue.
Okay, no, he has his own. Okay.
Okay, just to address some of the questions. First one, the question of institutionalization, I think that there are like two levels. The first one is how we can address this internally in the government of the city, because there inside of the city council, inside the institution, there are a lot of internal resistance sometimes. Oh, the people from citizen participation department is coming again to knock my door in order to control or give me a lot of work or something like that. But the interesting thing is working together with them, especially in the case of participatory budgeting. We work very close with different transversal people inside the city council. We work in the people who is in the districts. We work with the people who is in the urban areas. We work with in a different transversal way. And we are trying to involve them also in the process of evaluation of projects. And also we are training them to learn how to use the platform working inside. And this allows us to create like kind of alliance. Obviously it has a cost in terms of time and in terms of dedication, but this creates a culture of democratic culture inside the public administration. And we are seeing this in the second edition of participatory budgeting. The first one, there is a lot of resistance inside, and now it's like something that it has to be done because this is something like mandatory. And this is answering also another questions about how the culture comes inside, because the first one, everybody was scared, and why I have to do this, and now is something like that. It has been internalized, and this is a win for us, because nobody's questioning, we have to do this. And actually, we have improved a lot the way in which they have to do some of the tasks. For example, in order to improve evaluation tasks, which is a hard task, but at the end, if we facilitate the techniques of do that, definitely we can facilitate this. And the second level is how we work this institutionalization with the collaboration with other institutions. And here the Catalonian case and the regional case is paradigmatic. We are working very close with the regional government of Barcelona, who are here also in the conference. They represent more than 300 municipalities in the region of Barcelona, and they offer the services of the participatory support and action, and also the participatory services on the platform. And this allows us to work in a same model with all cities. They are working on participatory budgeting strategies, strategic planning, participatory actions, but we are working with the same framework, which is the Decidim platform. Thanks to that, the Catalan government, and the Catalan government representing the whole 1,000 municipalities at the Catalonia level, decide also to work on Decidim platform. And now they are offering to the whole Catalan territory the platform. And today in Catalonia, we are almost arriving to the 200 municipalities using the same platform. And this is obviously an opportunity, as you were mentioning, because we are imagining how we can federate and how we can start to work in a supra-municipal level. Because in a technical way, it's possible. In a political way, we have the conditions, but we need to improve that, because why we cannot have a deliberation process with different cities which are affected by a mobility plan? We have a common need with different municipalities. We have to address that in a political way. And I connect this also with the question of with the representation and what happens when. But that maybe the case of Barcelona is paradigmatic because we changed the government, but the government decided to keep the platform alive and the participatory actions and the participatory strategy, because the digital infrastructure and the participatory model is consolidated. It's very difficult for any kind of government to it is possible, but it's very difficult to finish something that is consolidated. We should find a strong resistance in the city if you decide to finish the participatory policies that we have on the city. And this is why we are running again participatory budgeting. But this is something that we have been discussing a lot on the beginning of the project. If we are consolidating practices on democracy, is the better way to ensure that they're going to have a continuity along the time. This is the way that we have to win, because it's a way to organize the people and to provide conditions for collaboration, and for any government, the political cost to finish with that, it should be like a lot. And this is why we have the support, and also because some of them believe in democracy, hopefully. And I think that attending the young people and the strategy with young people, we have a very interesting experience in Barcelona. We drive the first citizen assembly elected by sortitions, and during 14 sessions, we joined 100 young people of the city from 16 to 29 during 14 sessions, 4-hour sessions, and we were deliberating working on the methodology of citizen assemblies by sortition, it was a really, really, really amazing process, because for the first time we collect young people who was the first experience on participation and citizen participation, and we have a very rich process of deliberation. And initially we were discussing about which were their priorities in order to address public policies. And after defining these priorities, which were defined the education, the housing, and the question of mental health, one of the main things that are worried the young people of Barcelona today is the mental health. It was very shocking when we had this discussion about 100 young people elected by sortition in a representative way, because we get this representation when we create the sample of people. It was like a sortition, a jury sortition. It was the similar methodology. And after that, we address with them the solutions, how we can address solutions, providing expert knowledge and providing civil society knowledge. But during these sessions, we work with them in order to find solutions, public policies to address these topics. I think that this is an example. And I think that maybe the most difficult question, maybe I can switch to Spanish, or?
You can switch to Spanish, but also English for Cesare también. It's okay.
Okay, I can follow in English. Just
No, ¿qué mejor para ti?
You mentioned the question of artificial intelligence, and also that maybe it's complex because we are seeing how the democracy, the participatory democracy, is losing feel in terms of automatization. There will come some technologies to decide for us. Actually, there are a lot of governments dreaming about a ChatGPT that can make decisions, and they liberate the politicians to do that. But definitely this should be crazy. I think that there are like two directions on that, because when I am saying that we work deeply in participatory democracy, is also how we can internalize the thing that we can be part of democratic process in any kind of public policy. And this also does mean to how we can be part on digital policies. Because in Spain now we are having this debate. The Spanish government is running artificial intelligence strategy, and we are seeing how we can push them to do it in a public and a democratic way, which means that if we are creating public artificial intelligence, maybe this is something a little bit freak, but when we are designing artificial intelligence not in hands of the market, in hands of the public sector, the initial condition is this artificial intelligence has to be democratic. But what does means? How we can do that? We can do that in a democratic way. How we can involve the citizens in the designing of artificial intelligence, but because the algorithms can provide a lot of solutions, can automatize some process that can be easy to facilitate the decision-making process, and maybe at the end of our life. But the condition is that we have to need not just control what is happening there, the capacity to decide what does it mean democratic artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence that is in hand to the people to serve the people, and not in hands of the market to serve the commercial interest, what is happening today. Because all the models that we are using are private and respond to private interest, not the common interest, not the public interest. And this is, I think that we have to fight that. But this is not just for digital policies. I think that for everything, for the climate policies, for the social justice policies, for the democratic policies, for the urban policies, we have to be there in all the policies that we have the capacity to do that, because it's the only way. And to go deeper to the participatory democracy means that, in my point of view, is creating conditions to create counterpower with public sector, with citizens to imagine and reimagine the world in which we want to live.
Thank you very much. I think we are running late, but there was a person there on top that had asked for. It's okay. You give up, and someone behind there also. I saw a hand or not. No. Okay. So I think we can thank you very much, all of you, for your presence and the vibrant debate, and our speakers here for having given us new perspective on a topic which is becoming so much important, especially for the new generation. Thank you very much indeed, and see you in the next days.
Boa noite, muito obrigada a todos e a todas pela vossa presença e lembro que o jantar é no espaço 1, portanto na Fábrica do Carvalho. Deverão dirigir-se para lá para jantar. Continuação de uma boa noite, foi um gosto partilhar convosco este momento. Até amanhã.
Tem dias que a gente se sente como quem partiu ou morreu. A gente estancou de repente, ou foi o mundo então que cresceu? A gente quer ter voz ativa, o nosso destino manda. Mas eis que chega a hora